Hey guys, Zach here with Minimalist Escapes, and today I want to share with you guys some of the ways that I've saved money while keeping my tanks. So, let's get into it. Before we get into it, if you guys could consider subscribing, it does greatly help the channel. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, the first way that I have saved money is on the tanks themselves. I tend to stay away from buying brand new tanks. I have bought new tanks. However, I found it much more cost effective to go with used or secondhand tanks. Now, these tanks generally aren't too beat up. They're usually pretty good. They're either display tanks from stores that they're retiring because they just don't fit the layout, or even tanks off of something like Facebook Marketplace of people just trying to get rid of them that no longer want the tanks. These are great options, and generally speaking, the tanks are going to be in pretty good condition. You might need to clean them a little bit, but you're gonna get them for much cheaper than you'd get a brand new tank for. Now, obviously, I'm not including tanks that are in kits. Those are generally very reasonable. You do get a filter, light, tank, sometimes some other stuff even like heaters in those kits, and those are good options as well. However, if you are going to build up from basically nothing and you want to buy each part individually, I would highly recommend going with secondhand or used tanks, as they are good options. Another way that I have found that I've been able to save money while keeping lots of tanks is by doing things myself and DIYing them. Examples, this shelf behind me I built myself, and it was much cheaper than any other shelf of similar sizes. The other thing that you do get with doing things yourself is this shelf is fit to perfectly fit the tanks that I had in mind for this. Like, these bottom sections here are the perfect length for these two tanks, whereas other shelves are just short, and I would have struggled to find a shelf that actually fit with a reasonable price. So instead, I've made it myself with my dad, and it was super easy to make, and it was far cheaper than actually going out and buying a shelf. Another fun thing to DIY in your tanks is the background. At stores, you can usually buy faux backgrounds, be it the ones that go inside the tank that sort of have rock work or some wooden stuff ingrained in it, or you can buy the ones that go on the outside of the tank that are just like blue or kind of like a forest, but I don't really like those. Those backgrounds look kind of fake to me. So instead, I've found that I like to do my own backgrounds, and it's really easy. I just use a can of spray foam and some dirt or some rocks or some wood and just incorporate that into the background, and I've found that I've actually saved money by doing this. And it's also really fun because you can make your own background that perfectly fits your tank specifically. Going inside the tank, there are two ways that I've found that I can save money on hardscape. The first way is just to go out and collect my own hardscape. If you're lucky enough to live in an area close to maybe some water, maybe you're near a stream, creek, maybe you're just near the woods, you can generally go out and find some pieces of wood that are going to work for your tanks. Now, do consider that you are going to have to boil and kind of process the wood a little bit to make sure that it is ready for your aquarium and that it's safe. Boiling it is going to get rid of 99% of the bad stuff that's going to be in the wood, so your tannins, most parasites are going to die if they're in boiling water, and you're going to get rid of any invaders that you might not want on the wood. Going out and collecting your own hardscape is also good for rocks as well. You will have to clean them off. However, this is a good way to get rocks for much cheaper than what you would get at the aquarium store. Now, you're not going to have those super niche rocks that might come from different geographical locations. So something like a dragonstone you're probably not going to find just out in the woods. So if you do want something like that, you can always go and buy that. However, if you're looking for rocks that are more in your area, I found that the rocks in my area can look really good in tanks, so I have gone out and collected some myself. And while you're out collecting, you can also, in the fall seasons, get botanicals. So things like elder cones, leaves, and acorn caps, anything like that can look really good in an aquarium, and you can save money on that by just collecting it during the fall seasons, if you get fall, and it still works the same as any other of those botanicals that you would get at the store. Now, you're not going to get like big almond leaves or the like monkey pods. You're not going to get stuff like that, but I quite like oak leaves and acorn caps in my tanks. Another way that I save money on hardscape is by buying it in bulk instead of buying it one rock at a time like at aquarium stores. To buy it in bulk, you do have to go elsewhere, and that would be landscaping supply companies. I have found that if I go there, I can buy much bigger and larger quantities of specific rocks rather than going to the aquarium store for about the same price, if not even cheaper at the supply stores. I've gotten bags of lava rock from these supply stores because landscapers really like lava rocks and most people like the look of lava rock, and I've gotten these big 50-pound bags of it for much cheaper than what I would have gotten it at aquarium supply stores. Another very popular rock among the landscapers is just landscape stone, which is pretty close to serious stone. It's not the exact same, but it's got that chunky gray featuring to it, which can really look good in your tank, and it's an option for you to buy rocks a little bit cheaper than what you would get in an aquarium store. So give that a try to maybe save some money. One way that I do save money with plants is just by propagating them myself. So if you go to the aquarium store and you're looking around and you see a plant that you really like and you're thinking, wow, this would be perfect for a tank, keep in mind plants will grow, so you don't need to buy, 5 or 10 pots of the same plant. I know that a lot of people on YouTube will do that, but that's just because they have the money to spend on things like that. But if you buy one pot and you propagate it, then you're going to be more than happy and you're going to get a lot of that plant. I've found the most bang for my buck is going to be fast-growing stem plants, and sometimes I'll grow so much that I don't know what to do with it, and I just have so much left over, and I can overlap it into multiple different tanks. Same goes for moss. Moss grows really fast, and I can spread it across a bunch of different tanks. Now, plants like epiphytes and some cryptocorns, they're going to be a bit slower growing. However, you're still able to propagate them, and you will save money if you just have patience and let them grow. Now, my final tip is just going to be more of a general tip for all of your aquarium purchases, and that is just to go in with a budget and a plan. I have found that this has kept me from impulsively buying things. Like if I go in, I know, okay, I'm going in for fish. You know what my plan is? Schooling fish for this tank specifically. Alright, and I want to spend about $30. Alright, I know exactly what I'm going for. I'm going to look at the plants, but oh no, I want to keep focused and go for the fish specifically. Planning also allows you to look ahead and research the product or the fish or the plants or whatever it is you're going in for beforehand. And during that research, you might also find some cheaper options that are similar or close. So give that a try the next time you're thinking about going to the aquarium store. So those are all the tips for this video. Hopefully you guys can try these out and see if they do save you money. I know they've saved me money. But that's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.